History remembers the victors, the moments of blinding light where a single discovery changed the world. We see the light bulb, the telephone, and the alternating current that powers our cities. But behind every monument of success lies a graveyard of forgotten dreams. Imagine a world where your house is poured from a single mold of cold gray stone, where every chair, every piano, and even your child's bed is made of concrete. Imagine a massive steel tower reaching for the clouds, designed to pull lightning from the sky and send it across the ocean for free, only to be sold for scrap metal to pay off a hotel bill. These were not the delusions of madmen. These were the grand visions of the most brilliant minds to ever live. This is the story of the failures that history tried to bury. This is the secret ledger of the great inventors. Thomas Edison is perhaps the most prolific inventor in human history. We know him as the Wizard of Menlo Park, the man who tamed electricity and captured sound. But Edison was also a man of relentless, sometimes blinding obsession. By the late 1890s, Edison had become fascinated with concrete. He didn't just want to use it for pavements, he wanted to use it for everything. Edison envisioned a world where a working-class family could buy a home for a fraction of the cost of wood or brick. His plan was radical. A builder would set up a massive, intricate mold of a house and in one continuous pour, create the walls, the floors, the roof, and even the bathtub. He poured millions into the Edison Portland Cement Company. He designed concrete furniture that was supposed to be air-filled and lightweight, yet durable. He even proposed concrete phonograph cabinets and, most macabre of all, concrete tombstones that would never weather or crack. But the world wasn't ready for a life of stone. The molds were incredibly expensive and complex, over 2,000 individual pieces that had to be bolted together with surgical precision. The houses were cold, damp, and lacked the aesthetic warmth people craved. The business crumbled. Edison lost a fortune, proving that even the man who illuminated the world could not convince it to live in a gray cement box. Whilst Edison was trying to build the future out of stone, his greatest rival, Nikola Tesla, was trying to build it out of thin air. Tesla's vision was far more ethereal. He dreamt of a world of free energy. In 1901, on the cliffs of Long Island, construction began on the Wardenclyffe Tower, a massive 187-foot wooden structure topped with a giant steel dome. Tesla believed he could use the Earth's own ionosphere to transmit not just information, but actual electrical power across the globe without a single wire. It was a project that would have ended the need for coal, oil, and the very power lines Edison's companies were installing. But Tesla was a scientist, not a businessman. His primary financier, J.P. Morgan, soon realized the fatal flaw in Tesla's plan. If the energy was everywhere and wireless, how could you put a meter on it? How could you charge people for it? When Guglielmo Marconi beat Tesla to the punch by sending the first radio signal across the Atlantic using a much simpler system, Morgan withdrew his funding. Tesla pleaded. He grew desperate, suffering from nervous breakdowns as his creditors closed in. The tower, once a symbol of a limitless future, stood as a silent, skeletal ghost for years. In 1917, it was finally dynamited and sold for scrap. Tesla died alone in a hotel room, surrounded by pigeons, his greatest dream literally scattered to the winds. Success often masks a lifetime of quiet desperation. Alexander Graham Bell gave the world the telephone, but his later years were consumed by a project born out of tragedy. After his young son died of respiratory failure, Bell became obsessed with creating a vacuum jacket, a precursor to the iron lung. He spent years in his laboratory, haunted by the memory of his child, trying to build a machine that could breathe for those who couldn't. He tested dozens of prototypes, some on himself, some on animals. He was a man driven by the most human of emotions, the desire to save a life he had already lost. But the technology of the time couldn't keep up with his heart. The seals leaked, the pumps were inconsistent, and the medical community of the late 19th century remained skeptical. Bell's vacuum jacket never saw widespread use during his lifetime. It was a failure that stayed with him until his final breath, a reminder that even the man who connected the world through speech could not find the words or the tools to stop a single heart from failing. If we look back even further, we find the patron saint of failed brilliance, Leonardo da Vinci. His notebooks are filled with machines that look like they belong in a 20th century war zone: tanks, helicopters, and submarines.